Does anyone out there think OJ is actually innocent? I'm not saying technically, like innocent. You believe he was really innocent of murder.
We, the jury, in the above entitled action, find the defendant, Orenthal James Simpson, not guilty of the crime of murder, a felony upon Nicole Brown Simpson, a human being, as charged in count 1 of the information. We, the jury, in the above entitled action, find the defendant, Orenthal James Simpson, not guilty of the crime of murder, a felony upon Ronald Lyle Goldman, a human being, as charged in count 2 of the information.
Let's go to James. James, do you think OJ is innocent?
No. Yes, I do think he's innocent.
Okay, and why do you think so?
Because what stupid person in their right mind would stand around and wait their turn, a.k.a. Ronald Goldman, to get killed. Watch somebody else get killed and then wait their turn. And based on all the evidence, how they do that CSI thing where they set it up where you say, okay, person A was here, person B was here. He was standing in the doorway watching it happen.
So you're saying that Ron Goldman, because I'm trying to refresh my memory,
and Nicole Brown Simpson were murdered.
Was there when Nicole was murdered? Is that what happened?
Yeah, because he was murdered too. Yeah.
He was murdered too.
Yeah.
Oh,
double murder.
Yeah, and they showed the reenactment of it. Ronald Goldman, Nicole Simpson was standing in the yard. Ron Goldman was standing in the doorway when allegedly OJ slit her throat, then went over to Ron Goldman, who was still standing there in the doorway. People in Friday the 13th at least run.
Yeah. Right, but you don't know how you react.
Right.
Well, and when you see something, and I think that, until you're in that situation, something is as not exactly the same, but if you're in a car accident and you get out and you see this horrific thing in front of you, your brain does not react how you expect it to.
And maybe he was running the house to call 911. We don't.
Also the fact that he's basing it off of the reenactment of the show, and when you're there, it probably was if it happened.
They showed
different.
The same reenactment during the trial, and Ron Goldman was in the doorway when they found his body.
Okay. Now, how would you?
How was he going to run in the house when he was in the doorway? So, based on their reenactment, he was standing there watching when it happened to her.
Now, James, what do you think about him going, before anyone, when they were looking for OJ, to tell him that his ex-wife was dead, that he got money, he had a gun, and he had his friend drive him, evading police for 90 minutes on the highway. Is that something an innocent person does, do you think?
Well, based on his behavior, they have a lot of people do the same thing. When you are like those sheep that voted for Donald Trump, he's innocent of anything. But when you are such a high-profile person, you have that mentality that nothing can touch you. You're innocent of every crime that you have committed.
Okay.
So for him to behave that way, I would see it as, you know what, they're going to blame me for everything because I've been known to have domestic.
Yeah, he abused her. Yeah.
So I'm automatically.
Yeah, I got you.
So I'm automatically guilty.
All right, James. Hey, we appreciate you having a strong opinion. I don't know what Trump has to do with it, but anyway, that's the society we live in now. But call back anytime. We love strong opinions.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of that situation is too. I think if that happens, was there any DNA?
Tons.
There was.
Yes. Mm-hmm. OJ's blood everywhere. In his car, in the house, everywhere.
OJ's blood?
OJ's blood, yes.
Was
mixed in with the Nicole Brown and the Ron Goldman. I mean, it was a mountain. That's why people were shocked when he was found innocent.
Yeah.
They were like, what?
Yeah.
This is pre-DNA evidence, though, too.
No,
remember,
DNA.
This is long time.
Right, but it was
infancy.
Very young.
Yeah.
And so they didn't know what they know now when it comes to
it. It was on TV. It was one of those. I mean, it's the most famous televised trial of all time. Maybe Squid or Matt can look up how many people even watched like the Bronco chase. I mean, it's the whole country was watching.
I remember watching it, and I've told you, I think more pizza deliveries were ordered at that moment than ever in history. But it was so long ago, it's just hard to remember exactly.
95 million people.
95 million people were watching that live?
That's insane.
That's the chase.
Oh, my
Watching the chase, yeah.
The chase, 95 million.
I remember it.
I remember when the verdict came down. I was young, but I remember watching it because everyone's like, they're gonna have the.
my gosh.
I know.
Oh my god.
Oh, and he had a gun to his head. He was saying he's going to kill himself, and then he's like, oh no. And then OJ himself said they didn't talk about the Bronco chase at all during any of the trials he was a part of.
What was amazing is what they thought were facts in my case that weren't facts in my case. I was in 3 trials. They never brought up the Bronco ever in a court of law. The media brought it up. See, the law is flight can be construed as guilt. See, if you tried to get away, they can bring it up in court and say he tried to get away, and the judge will instruct a jury that says that that's a sign of guilt. They never brought it up in any of my trials because they know I wasn't fleeing. But the public had that perception through the media that I was fleeing, so the perception was better than the fact.
The perception was that that 95 million people though saw this Bronco,
with him in it.
It would not stop, correct?
Right. And then found out he had money, he had a gun, he had his passports. He was making phone calls.
Was there anyone else in the?
Yeah, his.
They had someone else in there.
Best friend driving?
His best friend was driving.
Yeah.
Right.
Was it Al Green or it was one of the? I can't remember.
So did the best friend get charged with anything, or was he forced to drive?
I think he was forced to.
I mean, I think in a normal situation he would have been charged with aiding and abetting, but I don't think anything ever happened from it. I don't remember exactly.
Yeah, because OJ had a gun, so you could make the argument that he was nervous something was going to happen.
Right.
Yeah.
And then I just remember watching, like, is this ever going to end? It was a slow speed chase for like, what was it, 90 minutes? It was probably the most compelling TV. You're just like, what is going on with OJ Simpson?
And over 100 million people watched The Verdict.
Yes.
Wow.
100 million live.
That's insane.
So if they had all the DNA evidence that he got off, the technicality get off on was the glove didn't fit?
I think that is they point to that. Although when you rewatch the video, it's
what
like
glove?
Yes, he
the
puts
gloves they found that are
At
his
the scene?
gloves. Yeah, they're his gloves.
Oh.
And there's
Covered in
blood
blood.
on it and all this stuff. And like when we put him on, he like had his hands like stretched out and he wasn't pulling down on him. It's
Right.
like, okay, is that
They coached him on how to make it look like it didn't fit when he put it on.
Yeah.
And again, if you didn't watch the OJ Simpson FX show,
yeah.
things that I didn't know up to this point was that they gave him a polygraph test, his defense team, before the trial started, and they said he failed it worse than any person they've ever had and ever represented, and told him, you have to plead. We got to get a plea deal, so because you're, and he's like, nope, I'm not going to do it. Because even his own attorneys are like, he did.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
So
And he got off.
I should have asked James.
That's insane.
I should have James who believed that OJ's innocent. You know what's funny? It's either some people just like he's definitely innocent or definitely guilty. Most obviously guilty, but there's no in between. There's no like well, it's possible. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
It's always one of way of the maybe there's other agendas to it. But I should have asked James on if he thinks that the killer of Ron Goldman and his wife is still out there. Then
Right.
I think OJ's on record for saying part of the reason he didn't want to go back to L.A. was because he's worried the killer would find him.
Yeah, he did say that when he got
That's
out.
right.
Yeah, when he
Yes.
first got out, that
Oh,
went viral.
my
Yeah, he
God.
said,
That's
I'm moving to
right.
Florida. I'm not going to L.A. They might come after me next.
And he famously said, I'm going to spend the rest of my life searching for the killer.
Yeah.
And people, and of course, there's a million jokes with that. And then he's just they're like, apparently he's on the golf course somewhere, the killer must be, because all he did was play golf the rest of his life.
Right. By the way, the New York Post reporting in the last hour that all of O.J. Simpson's visitors, friends, family, and medical staffers were forced to sign NDAs in his final days and hours.
Oh, interesting.
I don't know if that's because he was saying things,
Yeah,
or
or-
if because he didn't want people to know he was sick. I don't know.
Maybe all the above. And O.J. Simpson, again, was arrested in 2007 for kidnapping and robbery charges.
One of the suspects involved in the robbery was O.J. Simpson.
O.J. Simpson is one of the suspects of the robbery.
Simpson claims that he was simply trying to get back property.
What were the items that he was after? Were there jerseys, a Heisman Trophy?
Primarily sports memorabilia that was taken from him.
They were items that were taken from him and were going to be put up at auction.
Simpson is cooperating with the investigation.
It does seem like, though, that particular thing that happened wasn't a typical robbery because it was like with people, a few other people he knew went into this room and crammed into the room. It wasn't just like, right?
Yeah, it was like a hotel room. And I think the thing that made it worse is that they had a gun.
Mm-hmm.
He had a gun, and so there's armed robbery.
Armed robbery.
And then he spent 9 years in prison. They said he could almost have life in prison. It's like, what, for that? But some things it was retribution.
His own stuff.
And it was like,
And what about the other guys he was with?
I don't know.
He convinced them to go with him.
Right.
Look, when you do something with OJ Simpson, you don't get any press time.
You're not getting
no
any.
one cares.
No one cares.
You get no press time.
What you have going on now? In people, if you're like Squid said, you were born on when he was during the chase or something like that.
Yeah, I was born on the day the murder happened.
Oh, okay, all right.
But it was 94 though, 2 years before I was born. So.
Oh, never mind.
So it doesn't really count.
But O.J. Simpson was famous for multiple things, for being a Hall of Fame football player, and then he became an actor.
Naked Gun.
Naked Gun movies. I remember watching it with my dad as a kid. I'm like, oh, I love Nordberg. Little did I know, this is before he murdered, allegedly.
Gotcha.
No, but and then they had the Hertz commercials.
The what?
The Hertz commercials.
Oh, yeah.
He was like a spokesman, and he did like ABC and NBC sports broadcasting. I mean, he was like a fixture. It'd be like if, this is a bad example, like Kanye murdered somebody, or Patrick Mahomes murdered somebody. Like, what? Or Tom Brady. You're like, really?
Wait, there's a big difference between
I should
Patrick
say Kanye,
Mahomes and Kanye.
I'm just thinking I should have said a football player.
Right. Oh, I see what
like
you're
Brett
saying.
Favre or some retired football player.
It's
You're like,
hard for
what?
people who were so young when it happened or not alive to understand. Because I don't understand. We weren't into a sports family, so when this all happened, I was like, I don't know who he is, but I don't know, So it's hard for us to relate.
Yeah. Don't try to act like you're as young as Squid.
No, I'm not.
What is happening here? Us young people.
No, when it happened, I wasn't even. I was like, what, 12?
Yeah.
I was 12. I didn't know anything.
Yeah. I was 14.
At 12 years old, how in the hell do you know? Like
I watched the entire trial.
Oh,
I stayed home when he was found not guilty.
I didn't even have cable. Like,
wow.
no.
This is BS. The judicial system is rigged.
Yeah, at 14, you were way more invested than most preteens and teenagers.
Probably.
Yes, I was.
Probably.
I did not. I barely knew who he was, and that's why I'm learning so much by watching the FX series. I learned as an adult what really happened because I had no idea.
I knew him as an actor. Like I didn't. So that's my experience.
Wow.
I've never
Did he
seen
do all
Naked
the
Gun.
Naked Guns? Oh, they were fun.
I
so
heard
funny.
they were good, but I've never seen them.
There's 3 of them, right? And I know he did the first 2. I don't know if the third one.
Okay. On another note, I do like the new Bronco. Have you seen that?
Oh yeah, those are great.
Yeah, they are. They're nice. Yeah.
They are.
I think they
nice.
stopped making them after the O.J. Simpson thing.
Yep.
And now I guess people were wanted to get the O.J. Simpson type Bronco to drive around because it's kind of like, I don't know what it is.
Yeah,
But
Ford was
it's
just
in
like,
memoriam.
too many people beating down our door wanting the OJ cars.
Understood.
The Broncos at a museum in Tennessee.
No kidding.
Oh, there's actual
Pigeon
one?
Forge, yeah, the actual one.
Oh, no,
and it's
Pigeon
next to,
Forge? I know
and
where
it's
it
next
is.
to Bonnie and it's next to Bonnie and Clyde's
What?
like buggy.
Yes,
Oh,
Pigeon Forge.
Wow.
Over in Pigeon Forge.
Not
where
at
I like to
Dollywood.
go.
Pigeon
No, but it is close.
Okay.
They have those
Alcatraz
museums.
East Crime Museum.
They have those museums. Where they have all the legendary killers and evidence,
see.
and this whole entire building is filled. Like they have like the serial killers like stuff in this one museum, and it's all there.
How much did they pay for
Wow.
that? Does it say? It
That
probably
is
went up for
interesting.
auction.
Yeah, that is crazy. But yeah, O.J.
I'm not
Simpson,
sure.
definitely a complicated legacy.
This is not headline news. O.J. Simpson died, as did any reason to ever talk to Kato Kalin again. In a related story, Fred Goldman's hand is now calloused and swollen from high-fiving every person he passed.
That's the father, and O.J. died owing that family $100 million. Just didn't pay him.
Oh.
Yes, O.J. is dead. Prostate cancer got him. Well, prostate cancer and karma. O.J. couldn't beat cancer. Mostly because you can't kill cancer with knives.
Yeah, there's a lot of jokes out there today.
Oh my
A lot of jokes out there today.
You can't kill.
I wonder though if they're going to get money now that he's passed
Maybe
away.
from the estate.
Yeah.
That's a good question. We should probably ask our official attorney.
He had an estimated net worth of $3 million when he passed away.
Yeah.
He makes a constant source of income through pensions, which creditors in the Goldman family cannot legally obtain.
From the NFL.
Oh.
He
Yeah.
receives $42,000 a year in Social Security, a pension from Screen Actors Guild, and then between $125,000 and $300,000. That's a lot annually as an NFL pension,
Okay.
and they can't touch it because of those things.